goes against the grain of the facts on the ground. The fact of the matter is, religion, both in this country and elsewhere in the world, has been responsible for far more deaths than any other activity of human being has done.
Definitely. I'm not
The
disagreeing
fact
with that.
is,
No, you're not making the distinction between seeking and believing.
no, I must, in spite of the ovation, say that to be popular may not be always to be right. Romanticizing religion the way you have done goes against the grain of the facts on the ground. The fact of the matter is, religion, both in this country and elsewhere in the world, has been responsible for far more deaths than any other activity of human being has done.
Definitely. I'm not
The
disagreeing
fact
with that.
is,
No, you're not making the distinction between seeking and believing.
no, we'll come to that. Let me say my piece.
You cannot come to that later. You have to look at it now because…
No, I will choose to tackle it when I choose to tackle it.
No, I want to tackle it now.
Follower.
No,
I'm
no,
here
no.
as a debater.
All right.
I'm here in a conversation.
You have asked me a question. Let me complete it.
I've not asked you a question.
You already asked.
I've not asked you a question. I've said, I made a statement that religion has been responsible for far more deaths than any other human activity. I'm also saying that you are happily confusing myth and history and talking about Rama and Krishna walking the earth.
What a pussy,
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Whether this is history or myth.
That's a nigga who lost hope. The guy right here to the black, right? This guy. Listen to him. That's the person who's broken, whose mind is depleted, because the life will do that to you.
Goes against the grain of the facts on the ground. The fact of the matter is, religion, both in this
It's a lot of you people, unfortunately.
country and elsewhere in the world,
I mean, I hope it's not you, but you know what I mean.
has been responsible for far more deaths.
Well, you gotta bring it back. You gotta bring it
Ovation say that
back. You gotta bring it back.
I must, in spite of the ovation, say that to be popular may not be always to be right. Romanticizing religion the way you have done goes against the grain of the facts on the ground. The fact of the matter is, religion, both in this country and elsewhere in the world, has been responsible for far more deaths than any other activity of human beings.
Definitely. I'm not
The
disagreeing
fact
with
is,
that. No, you're not making the distinction between seeking and believing.
no, we'll come to that. Let me say my piece.
You cannot come to that later. You have to look at it now
No,
because…
I will choose to tackle it when I choose to tackle it.
No, I want to tackle it now.
Follower. I'm
No.
here as a debater.
All
I'm
right.
here in a conversation.
You have asked me a question. Let me complete it.
I've not asked you a question.
You already asked.
I've not asked you a question. I've said, I've made a statement that religion has been responsible for far more deaths than any other human activity. I'm also saying that you are happily confusing myth and history, talking about Rama and Krishna walking the earth. Now,
I didn't say that. I said
whether this is history or myth. Shiva having a conversation with his wife and somebody having a conversation with somebody. You can't confuse history and myth and wade into all of this and run a logical argument. I know you are not for logic. At least you don't think logic is the end all of all discussion, at least on the book, which I respect. Science is not it. It is for science to discover the beginning of the cosmos and the end of the cosmos. Science is the process of seeking, of becoming. Religion has become, unfortunately, a certitude, a terrible certitude, which is creating more division, more fraction, more, I think, dishonesty in life, all of that. And that's become even more so in the current days. That's what I started out by saying. We are in an age of godmen. We are in an age of so-called, new age gurus, market gurus. Branding is the thing. Look at all the branding of all the gurus that are doing. It's ridiculously ostentatious and market friendly. So I'm sorry, but I don't get offended.
You are giving your opinion about everybody in the universe without knowing a thing about them.
Yeah, but that is not wrong enough.
I'm not here to saying these are market forces, these are godmen. Whoever in this country called himself a god man, only the goddamn journalists are doing this all the time.
Sure. I'm not accepting. My persona as a journalist does not
No.
make me.
Have you seen one person who said I'm a god man?
Because you are saying that. In your book you are saying that.
What I was saying?
You are saying, I will do this, I have magic, I create all these things, I touched and created vibrations, I created power there. You are talking like a magician. You are the last pages of book, please read your book.
I think you need to little educate yourself about English language then. You're making up things.
Sorry?
Please, you're making up things. If you do not understand the way the book is written, you will need 10 readings to get it.
I don't intend reading it more than once, but I have read it once.
If this is the conclusion you made, obviously you didn't get it.
No, towards the end of the book, you are talking about the need for more and more temples. You are talking about how you created vibrations in one temple in the US and made it, godly in that sense. You're not using, but that's even more dangerous in my view. Somebody who calls himself a god man can be dismissed offhand.
Okay.
But while you raise very, very interesting discussions on the need for limits to logic, the need for limits to science, towards the end you're lapsing into total blind leap of faith. In the beginning of the book, you start by saying, don't take anything at face value, question everything, interrogative religion. And you say that in the beginning. You say, don't take even what I'm saying at face value. Towards the end, you say, if you don't have a leap of faith, a leap of trust, I cannot guide you in the garden of wilderness. So, it's a book of self-contradiction in that sense.
All right. Can I have 3 minutes, please? Let's understand this. When human beings were just walking on the ground, if a first man came on a bicycle, most people wouldn't believe it. They would think it is something absurd or illogical or magical. It would take a lot of convincing before people who are stuck in their own logic understand there is a way to ride on 2 wheels. I'm not even talking about an airplane, I'm talking about a bicycle. So all those people who denied the bicycle, at that moment, they all thought they were logically correct, like you.
I don't understand it, but please carry on.
Yes, I understand, a lot of things are not understood.
Yes. Unless they're understood, they're not understood.
Because the way you're going at it, whatever this leap of faith business you're talking about, there is no question of faith here. We are talking about a dimension beyond your present level of perception and understanding.
Stupid.
Any human being
Dickhead.
who thinks what I do not know cannot exist
Fucking
is wearing
retard.
the crown of ignorance.
Dumbass.
The most
Pussy.
fundamental aspect of human intelligence, if
You're
we have
retarded in
allowed,
every sense of the
is
way.
to constantly
You don't want to
be
say it,
able
I'll
to
say it.
see
You a duck.
things that you do not know, things that you do not perceive exist.
You're whack.
All the time.
Corny. Boring.
This has been the exploration of science.
Bad news.
This has been the exploration of every
Yeah,
spiritual being.
everybody leave.
If you do
'Cause
not
you
understand the
squeezy.
difference
Heebie-jeebie.
between crude logic which binds you
You
down
poo-poo, nigga.
and the
Honolulu.
logic which evolves you into a different dimension of existence,
To get you mad, and that's exactly
that
what's happening.
is what we're trying to change.
Duh.
That is what we're trying to touch people with. That they do not have to limit themselves to their present dimension of logic and intelligence. There is a way to transcend this. There is a way to touch other dimensions of life. You thinking anything that you don't understand cannot exist.
Pussy.
Well, now that you've told me what I'm
Heebie-jeebie,
thinking, let me
squeaky.
say what I think. What I think is not exactly what you're saying I'm thinking.
No, from what you said, otherwise I'm not
There's
saying
an understanding problem there as well. Let me
What
explain
he
what
just
I
say?
or what I think many people
Hold on,
also
what the
know
fuck
I
he
think.
just say?
The simple fact
I ain't
is,
even gonna do him like that.
science is never a certainty. theory of science is always based on
Life is weird. Shut the fuck up.
falsifiability is the
Life
basis.
is crazy, weird, beautiful,
Religion
and
and
nice. The
spirituality
hell?
may not be spirituality so much.
Stop looking at the bad part.
Distinction. You must make the distinction.
Yes,
You don't even know what it is.
I'm making the distinction. I am suggesting that you do make the distinction in some parts of what you're writing, but you tend to oversee the distinction, and that to me becomes very dangerous, particularly in the times that we live in, because the dominance of religion in public affairs, in the public sphere, is creating more divisions than unity. That's very obvious before us, the kind of tensions that be in society. I don't think it is true that this was always the case. I think it's become more acute, at least in my lifetime of the last 30, 40 years. I can see there's been a progression for the worse. So either I'm seeing it with John Disguise, deliberately.
You talking about war? What are you talking about?
Do that, or there is a real problem.
See, people have always been religious, all right? But religion as it was propagated here was never an absolute. There's never only a debate. But for every kind of mind, for every kind of intellect, there is an option to choose. It is very unrealistic to expect everybody to have a certain type of intellect. It will not work. So for every type of person, there are different kinds of forms and formats to pursue. And very clearly, very clearly, in every village, they have a different god or a goddess.
Thank you.
What is it that people write it on their forehead that we made it up? They're telling you this is our goddess, this is only for our village. This means what? They made it and they revere it because they need some point to hold their emotion and to look up to something. And this is not an unknown thing. And they don't have any problem going elsewhere and elsewhere. So that type of religion has been there. But first of all, we must understand this. This has been a land of seeking. Maybe confused and colorful kind of seeking, because this is how human beings are. Making and putting a label on all of that is the wrong way to look at human beings, because human beings are in different state of evolution. You have to respect where they are and see how to take them to the next place. The last part of the book which is bothering you is to take you to the next place.